Hi there. Hello, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. It says that I have bad reception, which is the worst way possible to start a live. Um, Hi, can you hear me? My name is Chris Farah. Welcome to my YouTube, where today I will be talking about 90 Day Fiancé. And we are in happily ever after land, are we? Sure. Season 7, episode 12. Now, we have some things to discuss. I'm so excited to see some peeps in the room. Hi, Shay. So excited to see you. Hope your road trip went well. I follow you on Instagram. Thank you, Shay. Jade, hello. Yes, so we will be getting into this episode. Don't you worry, but if you do follow me on Instagram or you follow the Docu Sweeties Instagram, which is, of course, the podcast I do with Wahima, just call me Wah. Then you know that, yeah, like definitely I spent the greater part of the week traveling with Wa across the country. We drove from California to Minnesota, which took 4 days as you make your way through California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, South Dakota, ultimately into Minnesota. And you drive through Vegas, Zion, Park City, Deer Valley, Salt Lake City, Jackson, Wyoming, into the Badlands, Black Hills, Deadwood area. It was a really awesome drive if you like that kind of stuff. Now, awesome in the sense that you get to see a lot of beautiful topography, like Utah hills and stuff, like kind of like where Asuelo and Kalani lived. And remember when they're not together anymore, we know that. But the last episode we got, or season that we got of Kalani and Asuelu, they were living in Utah. And I remember a lot of the B footage of them when they would like go to their segments was the beautiful like Utah vistas of these rocks. I mean, these red rocks. It's just truly gorgeous. So we did that, and then it started snowing while we were in Park City. It was snowing in Jackson. We didn't. It was scary sometimes to drive, but we didn't hit a deer. God bless. Who was Thelma and who was Louise? I mean, we did not pick up any like dudes, grifter dudes. If that's what you're saying. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. It's so nice to see you. I miss you so much. It's been like so long, Lisa. I love you. Love your dress. Thank you so much. If you know that I'm a insane person, that I am ritualistic and buy many things of the same thing, you might notice this looks just like the white version of the nap dress, the Hill House nap dress that I tried to buy when I was doing the Follow Fridays. And they came out with a white lace version that I wanted to buy, and this is the Christmas version of the same dress. It's the ELLIE nap dress from Hill House. I love it. Does Juan know she has a car named after her? Those commercials make me. There's a car named Juan? No, Joslo. No, I did not know that. Oh, honey, she's up. She's doing Pilates. Yes, thank you so much for also joining Patreon. So yeah, I will absolutely talk about this. I'm so happy to see you guys. I'm like having multiple conversations. Thank you for joining Patreon. You know that you got to see Waz like house tour. I'm sorry, I love you too. It's crazy time in the homestead, but back and sitting in the hallways. Miss you all. Oh, Lisa, God bless. I love you so much. I'm so happy that you come back into your lives. But definitely into your lives. No worries. But it's so good to see you, Lisa. I missed you. I'm glad that you are busy doing fun things. Yeah, I do buy in every color variation. I have 4 of these dresses. I have 4. I have black and white lace, this Christmas one, and then I have a rose gold sequin one. And the rose gold sequin one is fabulous. It's like New Year's Eve. I think it's a Hyundai. Okay, Hyundai Wa. I'm absolutely looking it up. Okay, so yes. So I've already put up Juan I for Docu Sweeties already talked about this episode for 90 Day Fiancé, and that is on the Docu Sweeties feed, as well as the Love During Lockup, which is the Love After Lockup series we have right now, as well on the feed. And then in my feed, I mean the RSS feed, which is basically, sorry, I'm trying to look up something up. The podcast. And then besides the podcast, we also have the Patreon, which I'm sure you know about, blah, blah. We talk about it a lot. And that's just seeing the live videos of our podcast unedited, as well as some extras. So you did get to see like some extras while we were traveling, and got to see a little of like our fine and for you. So we'll be talking about season 7, episode 12, like I said, 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. This is, I forgot what this episode was called. No, I have no idea. But let's talk about it. So let's talk about Jovi and Yara. So Jovi and Yara are hot off of their somewhat awkward, if not produced segments of Yara suddenly trying to make grand decisions without talking to Jovi, and thusly drama comes from such choices and decisions that she's making, which feels like it can't possibly be true because it seems crazy. But here we are. So she had a whole to do whether she was going to go to Europe during a war by herself and bring her baby without Jovi, and that ended up being a thing that she wasn't going to do. She was going to wait for Jovi. That makes sense. Now she's in Prague, and she has spent the majority of Prague like conversing with her mom in ways in which she can spend more time in Europe, either buy a place in Prague and get to like spend times in which Jovi's working there and having her mom, live there perhaps, which is completely different than what we heard before, which was that the plan was for her mom to get a visa and come to America and then thusly take care of Queen Mila, because someone has to take care of her, honey. And it's not going to be Mrs. Gwen, obviously. So that all seemed fake. Like, like the setting of the apartment seemed fake. Like I don't see a world in which if Jovi suddenly realized that his wife was trying to buy an apartment in Prague, that he would be just so like, yeah, I'll go with you. He'd be like, no, it's not happening. So, oh God, you guys, let me just tell you something, because my life is like whatever it is. I'm thusly dressed up the way I am is because it's my cousin's birthday, right? Like not Monique, my cousin Kristen, who I think you have met before. She did a live and she's like super cute, right? She's a psychologist. So anyway, so great. We have this dinner and it was like so lovely. And I come out and I stumbled out of the restaurant and I like rolled my ankle. Like rolled the hell out of my ankle. And I haven't done that in a minute. So like, I feel horrible. Both my feet are like messed up. My ankle hurts so bad. I have it iced. I have one of these things. I'm like trying to like level it. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to go to Disneyland. With all my nieces and nephews, the cutest babies in the whole world that I want to like play with and run around all day. And now I have a rolled ankle and just like my feet hurt so bad. I'm like so upset. And it happened at the very end of the night. And I'm not drunk. It like wasn't my fault. It was an awkward step that took me down. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for saying my hair is fabulous. You know what I did, honestly, which is like, God bless. I got pillow curlers, individual pillow curlers, like soft pillow curlers. And then I just like wrapped my hair in it and then just like put a bunch of oil in it, and then just like wrapped it. And then when it came out the next day was crazy. And so I combed it out and just kept putting oil in it. Now it looks like this. You know what? It does look good. I can't believe it. I like now know that like these pillow curlers are a thing. And I'm just sharing this with you. Like I'm sitting in an awkward way because my foot is trying to be up. I cannot believe I did this to myself. It's like, can I even go to Disneyland tomorrow? I'm not quite sure. Like I don't know if I can walk. I'm so mad. Anyway, here we are. Ice, elevate, ibuprofen. Oh God, ice for sure. Elevating is happening. Ibuprofen I have to get. Oh, elevated more. Oh God, I'm so upset. Okay, here we are. So after that situation with Jovi and Yara, they end up going to a lunch with Jovi's friend, who is his like friend they used to travel with, you know, and they definitely traveled in Ukraine. And then like oftentimes they would meet up with like girls. And one time Jovi was like, hey, I need you to go out with these Ukrainian girls that I just met. Like you have to like entertain them. I'll be there later or whatever. And they're like telling these stories to like Yara, and like Jovi's like, don't worry about it. I had a past before you. And Yara's like, no, I definitely know that you had a past before me. I like can't believe I'm on this show after season 1 when you basically admitted to like spending every moment with prostitutes. I almost said that it's not true. Strippers, which are not prostitutes for sure, but strippers. Just like Jovi loves strippers, which is fine. Listen, everyone's fine. Sex workers are fine. Strippers are fine. But what Jovi is trying to say is that he had a past, and Yara's like, oh, I know. No, I know that. I remember it. I remember your friend and I going to get our manicure, pedicure, and telling me about all the strippers and how like they used to pee in your bed and pee on your couch, and you would just take different ones home all the time. I remember because I had to watch myself hear it, knowing I had signed on for a second season with you, and I'm holding your baby. So I know. Now this guy that Jovi used to travel with has a very strong jaw, honey. He is a strong jawed man. I mean, you know. He had a lot of fun in Europe, that man with that strong jaw, honey. He just like, I don't know, Paul Bundy'd his way through Europe, grinding his teeth, making friends. What if Yara was like, how come I didn't meet you? With your strong jaw. You know? I want to know, first of all, a lot more about Yara's past. I want to know way more of like what her life was like. She makes it seem like she loved her life. She was having a lot of fun. I want to know what her friends are like. It makes me a little anxious to see what her friends are like because I, you know, obviously hate her American friends. I think those American friends are like vain and superficial and just like vapid, which was the word that I wanted to use for so long to like speak of them. Remember when I kept trying to discuss what they were like? And there's like 3 lives of me being like, what is the word? The word is vapid. You know, especially that first season or that first scene. But especially now that we know that like that girl, oh, my cousin's calling me. The one that I went to dinner with, here I'm gonna answer on live. Hi, I'm on live, but I told them all about me rolling my ankle and how I did at your birthday. Happening on speakerphone. Can you, first of all, I told them that this man told me how beautiful I was, and then 3 seconds later, I fell to my death, Kristen.
Gushed all over you, just boosted you as no one has ever boosted anyone before, basically drooled all over you, but in the most gentlemanly and chivalrous way. Mm-hmm. It was not creepy. And then haram. I mean, it's just bye-bye. It's fun.
He took me out, honey. He took me out, you know.
He did. He made you weak in the knees, literally. And the ankles. Weak in the knees and ankles.
I'm like, I can't believe it. I like already called my cousin, you know, I'm going with Disneyland with Monique. I like called Monique and I was like, I'm hoping I can go up now. Now I have to call her at 8 a.m. when I wake up and see if I can walk. Is that crazy?
Oh no! Oh, that's, girl, you go and you get a wheelchair and you get front of line pass for everything. Hello. I I mean, come on, work it.
Wait.
Yeah.
I go and say I rolled my ankle, and then they give me a wheelchair, and I just like they just wheelchair me around the whole time?
You get an electric wheelchair, and then you get to go in the handicap line in all the lines because you can't walk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Pro tip.
You're very smart. You're a very smart girl.
I like Disneyland, you know. That's what I'm here for, to help you with your Disney needs.
What a pro you are. Okay. Can I call you back tomorrow?
Yeah, totally. I love you so much.
I love you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Good luck. Ice that ankle, girl.
It's iced. Oh, don't worry. It's like already. Yeah, I have it. I love you so much. It's been
Ice,
nice.
baby. Okay, great.
Okay. Bye, Bill.
I love you. Bye.
Isn't she the best? Yeah, that's so crazy. I forgot about that. Should I do that? Oh God, I can't believe it. I should text Monique. That's what Kristen said. That's very funny. I didn't think about that. I don't want. It's just like I'm just gonna be like in a motorized wheelchair tomorrow. Please let me get back to this. So, vain, vapid. So they basically, I love the fact that girl. I want to know more about the girl that was arrested. Like, what is her life? Who was the guy that like was her kingpin? You know, like, is she out of prison? You know, did she make her bail? How come? Did Yara ever talk about it? How impossibly did this girl Yara bring this girl on who had couple of scenes on the season? The girl is basically a guest star, and this is someone who works in Hollywood, meaning me, meaning that girl's a guest star, which means she's not a co-star, which means, you know, like every time you've seen a retail associate, that's a co-star, right? We'll never see them again, right? But it's someone who has to do the work of like getting the leads to like, you know, further their business. But sometimes we have guest stars, you know, which is this girl who is Yara's friend, who told her she had to get a boob job and told her that, you know, that she was better than Jovi, and that anytime some rich man would just look at Yara and be like, you, and then Yara would then just leave Jovi and go with him, right? And that girl, obviously, as we've already said, is now like wanted and or indicted for like federal things. And what I'm telling you is, how is it that Yara brought on a guest star of the season and hasn't even commented on what is supposedly one of her good boos, who she takes advice from, who like they go out a lot enough where like they're their best girlfriends, and that Jovi, you know, meeting up with them is so awkward. How has she not said anything about her like best Judy being indicted for like multiple crimes? Come on, say something. Like, even like, wow, I had no idea. You never know, but I hope the best for all involved, especially the victims. Even one of those. Oh, that's not Wall that was on the phone, my loves. That was my cousin Kristen. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, that wasn't Wall. That was confusing. That was my cousin Kristen, who I went to dinner with. Remember when she did a live with me? She is a little younger than me. She's beautiful, big eyes. Maybe you saw her from her live. Anyway, so wow, it's like late there. I don't know what Wall's doing. I wish she would join my live and say hi. Okay, so basically, you know, like Yara and this big jawed friend, I don't even know if they're friends or if she's like ever met him before, but like they kind of like have this awkward moment where, you know, like he starts to try and take Jovi's side over different things, and like starts to try and talk about their marriage. Meanwhile, having it just got done saying how he like, you know, screwed his way all over North America and, you know, Western Europe, like completely. And so Yara's like, I don't really have to hear your opinion. And so she's like, have you ever been married? And he's like, no. And then she's like, cool, shut up. You know what the fuck you're talking about. Don't talk to me. You know, and I completely respect that, because there's a lot of like audacity in this world to open their mouth. And you know, I think that we are in an age where certain types of people have been very used to giving their opinion, when in actuality, I mean, is it worth anything? What's their expertise? What's behind that opinion? Well, why would it be validated in the courts, the court of law, or the court of public opinion? What's behind that opinion? Are you a doctor? You're not married? You just got done telling me how you just would sow your seed. Like through the northern hemisphere. I mean, truly, be quiet. And I really, really like Yara, so I'm always gonna truly be on her side, except for the fact of how fake this season is, and except for I want her to know that this isn't a fun season. Yara, if you want to be on the show, and I want you to be on the show, you have to have fun seasons. These are the things we like. We like you talking sassy to people. So this is a great situation. We like you either showing off your style or how you do makeup, or maybe more of your business, or what do you do with Mila when he's gone. Show us more of that. I don't need fake storylines where it's just kind of you and this note, Yara's note of being pouty all the time. Jovi! I think that there is somewhat of a very cute Eastern European female way of being somewhat pouty like that. So it's not like I don't want to take that away from her completely. I just kind of want their storyline to be more well-rounded and authentic. I can barely get through an episode this season. Yeah. It's really slowing down. It really is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's really slowing down. Nothing is truly happening of any value. Definitely, I really want I think they think, Sharp Entertainment thinks that we're hanging their hat on Angela and Michael and Ed and Liz, which are the more dramatic storylines, but I'm not even watching Ed and Liz. And Angela and Michael is in the same way that Ed and Liz are, incredibly toxic and doesn't make me feel good to watch. It makes me feel like it feels, well, yeah, I can't watch Ed and Liz. Angela and Michael feels stale. It feels, yeah, it feels stale, redundant, and just borderline overly negative to the point that I think that most people don't want to take it in visually, or even hear. We don't want to hear her voice yelling at him anymore. I think it's just I think that most of the audience have hit a wall from hearing her voice yell at him. And it's I think that the audience, I think that we're upset. I think that we think that she's a toxic abuser, for sure. If they hadn't leaned so hard into this part of her, I think the audience would have been a little more on Angela's side of viewing her if it was more about Angela sometimes enjoying her life and living her life. Because the parts of Angela that are quote unquote positive or entertaining are that she's loud and that she says what she wants. And I don't know whether it's too hard to keep Angela happy, so it's too hard to get her. If it's too hard to keep Angela happy, so you don't get a happy Angela a lot. So what you're seeing is a lot of Angela being unhappy and then throwing her pain on other people. People are saying they're preferring single life this season. Switch to single life. People love single life. It's so funny. I started watching it and I really, really liked it. But I'm unfortunately not fully. So this is what happened. I'm in episode 2, and after I came back from Minnesota, I wanted to watch it on the plane, and then I couldn't do it. So then, ever since I've been back, I haven't been able to fully watch it. I'm so upset. I wish I could. I'm going to. So I'm just horribly behind. You can blame moi. Go right now to her YouTube or her Instagram. Blame her. It'd be really great for me. Thank you for thinking I look cute. It says Hill House Dress. It does the Lord's work. When Angela speaks, I keep waiting for all her teeth to come flying out of her mouth. Yeah, I mean, she is slurring her words at times because her teeth pieces are so very intense. Just skip the most recent episode and catch up via the teasers. You know what? You're probably right. It's just that I think that there's some. I know. It's just like you want to watch all of it. I'm in episode 2. Natalie looks so crazy. I know that Natalie already's at Mike's house, and that makes me. I can't believe I'm not getting to watch that. So it's like watching Mike and Natalie is the major reason why I want to catch up. Someone on Vanity Fair posted her saying that she's Mike's most legendary woman. Here's the thing, she's not wrong. I gotta start talking about it. First of all, I've got to move on. This has been the longest. I don't even know what Jovi and Yara was a boring segment. Can you tell? I really can't tell you what I would tell you. I really can't tell you what that would happen. But then it's been 25 minutes of me talking about one fucking couple. So let me move on. Jenny and Sumit. So Christine is coming, honey, with her wife. Now, just like me, Jenny fell. Us old ladies, my loves, you know what I'm saying? We fall all the time, just we just fall, fucking around. And so poor Jenny, poor me. Jenny goes to the doctor and they help her. They put her they want to put her in a sling. And she's like, no, but then they give her acupuncture. I mean, has anyone ever gotten acupuncture on a rolled ankle? Is that what you're supposed to do? I've never gotten acupuncture, period. And I don't know. I don't have a good reason why. I'm just telling you I haven't. I wonder if that would be good. Unfortunately, I have no time to go get acupuncture before I have to go to Disneyland tomorrow. But whatever. So so in this doctor's office, we get a lot of uncomfortable situations where they're being well, you're getting a little old, and we get a lot of seeing Jenny's fragility and more seasoned bones. She has these seasoned bones and ligaments, right? And this season has had sort of the undercurrent of, in a way in which I hasn't had in the previous seasons, of Jenny's physical age becoming somewhat a factor in the relationship. Because everything else has always been they're not together, or they're together but they're not married, and they love each other, but his family hates her, and everyone in India, every time I see them, is always remarking about the fact that she's older than him. But besides the fact that she's physically older than him and she looks it, I mean, they seem very much like a coupley cups. But this season has been more of well, he's a younger man and she's an older woman. He wants to get back to work. And she says, why? Why would you work? Because she's a retired person. Them studying, them going ziplining, then it's suddenly a challenge that she's a little older than him, that she has to talk about it, and that, whatever. Kama Sutra, that she's a little older, that certain positions maybe are a little difficult, that she doesn't feel like she needs to learn anything new, but that she should probably, keep things interesting, blah-blah-blue, blah-blah-blue. And now this, there's just a lot of, and her not wanting to clean or whatever, there's just a lot of comments in which I feel like we've been more inundated with her physical age and the difference. So, oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So at one point, in the worst part, in this doctor's office, I mean, absolutely the worst part possible. And this doctor, I mean, at one point, I feel like she knows things because, she seems like a smart lady and she's, doing acupuncture. But at other parts, it feels like this doctor does not know what's happening. Because she goes, oh, I see. And she does the back and forth of, the chick, hold on. Everyone has it. Not everyone, but most females of a certain age have, a little, looseness there. And she's like, oh, it's a weak muscle right here. I can see it. And she's, jiggling her arm. Yes. Now, is there a little chicken wing there? Of course. But we know Jenny's half chicken. Now, we've been knowing this, because we hear her talk and everything like that. And this Indian doctor, didn't quite maybe know that, her ancestry was half chicken. And so to her, that is weak muscle, but it's just a little weak, loose skin. Just here's a little loose skin, you wouldn't be like, oh, you have a weak muscle in your chin. You would just kind of be like, yeah, it's a wiggly chin. I just didn't really think that if she hurt her leg and couldn't, that the arm was really necessary to point out by the doctor. I thought that was rude. I wouldn't like it. Just flex and the flop blows away. Truly, when I'm, by the way, this is just because I will always be truly honest with you. I have unfortunately gained some weight. I'm really sad by it. Because everyone's on a journey of their own health situations, and food and weight has always been somewhat of a challenge for me. And so I've been trying to get back into the groove of things, and that means oh, hi Wa. You can blame if you wish. Oh, she's came so late. So I've been unpacking, working my house and learning a new job yet, so I've been able to watch. So she just I realized she just joined. God bless. People are excited to see you. Anyway, so I got back today and I started speaking to a nutritionist. Okay, so I'm trying to actively kind of get back to a sense of motivated, activated kind of control. So why did I bring this up? Food is hard. Working out is hard, and having people talk to you about your weight or having people talk to you about your body or seeing your body change is a difficult thing. So for me, I know that my arms look big for me right now. For me, my arms tend to be a little skinnier than other parts of my body. So if my arms feel like they're looking big, then I know that I'm gaining weight because it's one of the last things to do. So, but the truth is that's a little chubby for me. But if I can just get back to my yoga-ness and doing a little more yoga, planks, hot yoga, I can get back to a little more of a svelte, toned ligament situation. So Chrissy looks super after, and then we're all fluffier. It's hard to get back discipline. I know it. It is, and I know, and I was gleefully in the oh, COVID happened and the COVID 20 or whatever, but the COVID 20, my loves, turned into the COVID 40. The COVID 40 is not a COVID 20. So I can really put on a lot of weight because, I've been through it. So I have to really be on top of it. So I've already lost 5 pounds, which feels good. So now it's the COVID 35. And yeah, I'm just, I'm back to it. But the arms will be one of the first things that once I'm really consistently doing some toning and lifting weights and planks and stuff like that, the arms will be one of the first things you can kind of see some definition of. And then slowly will travel down my body and maybe I'll see some definition in my stomach, which is the worst. 3 pounds weights while watching TV, just yeah, no, it's good. Poppy baby beaky blanket, it's been so long since I've seen you. Oh, my love. Yes. Nice to see you. I'm so pumped. Okay, so anyway. Monique texted me wheelchair tomorrow. Oh, God. This is going to be a very loose live. I'm so sorry. I'm going to text her back. That's what Kristen said. We can get to front of the lines. I cannot believe it if I make it to Disneyland and I go in a wheelchair and it's taken to the front of every line because I rolled my ankle just walking out of a restaurant tonight. I can't even. Hilarious. Okay, so. But yeah, I really want to know truly if acupuncture just happens at Indian hospitals, like if it's part of the thing. Like this will help too because that's amazing. So the thing about this situation is that Jenny somehow takes this accident, and this part makes me feel like Jenny does not understand how truly insane this sounds, to be a reason in why Sumit should stay home, not work, because at any time he has to be available for her to have fallen and she can't get up. Which for the times that I always went like, I'm like, okay, Jenny, Jenny, you know that you're a little older than Sumit. Are you actively working against that? Like, I know you know it. Are you actively trying to somewhat work against it so to level the playing field so that, yeah, maybe, sure, you're a little older than him for sure, but that your spirit and your energy and your like whatever is a little youthful or young? Like, are you trying to do that? I sometimes think that she would say yes. But then in this moment, to hear her say that he has to stay home just in case she falls is bananas. And kind of embarrassing. In the way that it's because it's like, some more seasoned people like don't want to seem like they need help, right? Like there's a lot of older peeps that like don't want anyone to check up on them or drive them anywhere. They want to be able to drive by themselves, like all of this stuff, right? But it's funny, like Jenny would rather Sumit just take care of her like a live-in nurse. Like she would like Sumit to take her to the grocery store every time and walk her around the grocery store. Maybe even push the cart while she decides what she would like, and he puts it in the cart, and they get up to the thing, and he does all the talking, he does all the packing of the things, he takes it into the cart. Like she wants her younger husband to just stay in the house all day long. Maybe even cook and clean for her a little bit because he doesn't want to do that. And then when she wants to go to bed, her live-in nurse fucks her till she passes out, missionary style. It's like everything I'm telling you is like what she said to us verbatim this season. Everyone is here right now. It makes me so funny. I mean, it makes me so happy, but it's so funny. Like, it's so interesting who will come at what time. It feels so late, like it's 9:42 p.m. But like, people I haven't seen in so long. Mickey and Lisa in the same room with our baby binky blanket. Jocelyn. Is Ramsterdam here? I don't think so. Too bad. But I love you, Ania. I'm so happy you're here too. Okay, Anwa. Keep looking, it's the wrong thing. So, when Christine and her wife come, they're very happy to see their mom, and everyone like hugs. Is very, very sweet. Like, like Jenny wants to hug her daughter for so long, which is great. Christine and her wife, have want their mom to be taken care of, and they want Jenny to be happy, and like they want her to feel loved in India and taken care of and part of the whole family. But what is not happening is Jenny is not loved in India by anyone other than Sumit, and Sumit's family hates him. So they get to hear about that a lot from Jenny. And so I think that this is one of those things when the family like sees Sumit, they're like, well, we want our mom to be happy. And Sumit's like, I can't wait for you guys to leave. But I'll do my best. And while you're here, I'll go ahead and cook. And Sumit cooks. Honey, he cooks and what he cooks looks a lot better than what he made for us last time. Remember when his friend and him made, it was just naan, and then they, open an egg onto the naan. It was like scrambled in the naan, like wet in the naan, and that was it. Naan, I think it's naan. This time he made like a whole ass marsala. Oh, it looked so good. Like a whole ass marsala with like maybe like a little cucumber dip, and then like yeah, bread. It looked super yummy. It was really lovely. You know, he does the best. I don't know about them. I really don't. Oh, honey, 544. Oh my god. Okay, so um yeah, they talk about his family and like what's been happening and nothing good's been happening and like Sumit just has to like sit there and like I mean, it's like interesting because Sumit most of the time it's Jenny who has to feel awkward about what's happening with any family, meaning Sumit's family. But in this situation, God, this thing got hot so fast. My like ankle icy. God damn. Oh, it's huge. Oh, my ankle's big. Oh, looks really bad. I don't think you can see it. Can you see how big it is? I can't. Oh, there it is. It's bad. It looks weird, right? Oh, it's disgusting looking. Oh no. Okay, so I'm happy that Sumit's a little bit on the hot seat because Jenny just had to sit in India. I'm in the hot seat permanently her whole time. She's in a hot country that she doesn't know without anyone there, and all his family just hates her all the goddamn time. So for him to have to just like listen to like anyone be somewhat inquisitive about his decisions, I'm happy about because she needs like someone on her side, you know? Um, God, I'm so mad about my. I can't even tell you how mad I am about that. Okay, so let's talk about Kimberly and Usman. So this is the best part of the whole episode. You know what? I was wrong, right? I told you guys that, like, I guess everyone's hanging their hat on. I said everyone's hanging their hat on Angela and Michael and Ed and Liz. I was wrong. I forgot about Kimberly and Usman. And no, it's a big one. And this is the best part of the episode. So, as we know, Usman's mom very much wants him to come to her house and meet a woman that she has picked. And I had like tweeted this, but I think it's so funny. Like, I like the idea of Usman's mom being like somewhat like a Patty Stanger, like a millionaire matchmaker who's just like seeing all the Hassa girls like in the village, like come to my house just like a week before this happens, just like show me your goods, like show me every woman you have, honey. It's very like Cinderella or whatever it is, like show me, you know, all the most eligible maidens in the land for my Usman, and any eligible maiden of marrying age can like whatever like have their hand. And then so like Usman's mom like goes through it and she like tries to find like a real hot young piece. And then she's like, okay, cool. You're it. Come to my house, meet my, you know, world famous superstar son. Marry him. So as we know, she has gotten him to come over to her house, and he, the night before, had been proposed to by a Kimberly who gave him a ring. Very much thinks that he's going to wear that ring to the mom's house while he goes and meets with this other woman, but that's not going to happen. So in the morning before he left, she was really upset. Like, I can't believe I'm having you leave. And then I can't believe you're leaving the night after I proposed to you to go meet another woman. And we're all like, but bitch, you knew that he was going this morning to meet the other woman. Then after knowing that he was going to meet this woman is then when you decided to propose to him. So him meeting the woman was already happening. You decided to propose to him the night before. That's why that happened. So you can say you can't believe this and that, but like the only reason why it's happening is because you made it happen. It's because you believed it and you made it happen. Anyway, so he goes to the mom's house. The mom's like, sit down, whatever. And then he goes with his mom to the other woman's house, and the other woman is the mother of the single lady. Put your hands up. So they go and sit down, and like Usman looks at this woman, and this young damsel is lovely. I mean, she's lovely. She's sweet, soft, demure, wide-eyed, warm-faced, a little smart, a little sassy. I mean, she said that she like has always somewhat had a crush on him, and she likes him. I mean, she's perfect. He's like into her, but brings up the fact that he has another woman in his life, and he would want her to be wife number 2. And where we know that she is like worth her weight in salt, she's like, oh no, that's not good for me. And also, your mom told me that she wants you to marry me first, for me to be the first wife. So surely no. I want to use surely no a little more in my life. Surely no was great. Oh, surely no. Will you go out with me? Surely no. Can you make it to my dumb kids' party? Surely no. Yeah, surely no is great. It's such a sweet, positive way of saying no. Surely, absolutely not. So sweet of you to ask, but no. Fudge no. Fudgicles no. It's like saying fudgicles no. Surely no. Fudgicles no. So basically the moms have already come to they've already talked. It's obviously the moms have talked, and they've been like discussing this arranged marriage or whatever. And I can imagine that in many different ways, the arranged marriages that most people get are not as lucrative and as like lucky as this one, in the sense of she likes him. She's been liking him, and she's, gorgeous. So like he's not missing anything, like if he got with her, like unless he really is just so truly sexually aroused by older ladies that he's just like, yeah, this would never be for me. This young, sweet, hot young piece, just like, not for me, not from Usman. I really need sandpaper. I've been liking sandpaper for a second, you know that. Usman likes the feeling of like nail files against him. Nail file. He likes to be filed. That yammy is razor sharp. Okay. Penelope! Thank you. Thank you. You guys like my hair? Okay, well, yeah. No, it really is those little pillow curlers. Those, like, thank you so much. I really did those pillow curlers. So, Usman disrespected her by slouching on the sofa. I know. Usman on that sofa looked like a teen. He's like 34, but there's something about him that is, I can't put my finger on it. Yes, it feels like he's conning, and he's like, we're not seeing the actual person that he is at all times. So that's something that's like I think that we as an audience feel that. And I think that I've like mentioned like there's something almost like asexual about him, because I definitely don't trust and feel like his truth when he's like being sexual with Kimberly. I feel like that's all put on for TV or her. I can't quite tell. Whether he's conning Kimberly and the TV show, just Kimberly, or just the TV show with Kimberly, I'll never know. You can tell me what you think if Kimberly's in on it. you know, anyway. So I will tell you this, like, yeah, this young girl that like Usman like gets paired with, I really like feel like she does such good eye contact. Flirty, demure eye contact was her, I think, like game winning move in this. You see her do this kind of like, I can't do it. It's like a, it's not too like, it's like, that's it, kind of like that. He's into it. He's like, give me your number. She's like, okay. She kind of is like, look, I don't want to get married right away. Like, I'd have to like get to know you. He's like, yeah, yeah. Like, I have to like get to know you. Meanwhile, the moms are like, yeah, like get to know you. Just like, here's my social media. Here's my Instagram. Like, see how many likes I get. You know, tell me what you think. I wonder how long they're supposed to get to know each other. Then he goes back and meets with like Kimberly and has to tell her. At first, he's like, yeah, it was just like a dumb meeting. Like, she's okay. She's not a big deal. Like, I gotta get to know her. And Kimberly's like, do you love her? He's like, no, I can't love her. Like, it hasn't been a minute. Like, you know, like, you saw how long it took me to let you in my heart. I couldn't possibly just suddenly let this young piece in my heart, you know? And Kimberly's like, good, good, good. And he's like, yeah, I mean, as beautiful as she is, and my God, is that woman beautiful? It will take some time. And Kimberly's like, feels like you just like told me like 2 seconds ago that she was only okay. And now like 10 seconds later in this conversation, suddenly she's beautiful. When all Kimberly wanted was a woman that wasn't, hopefully she's not too young and beautiful. And she's 18. She looks like that. She looks like that. Yes, Chris, I always got that vibe of asexual too. He's like, I can see Kim being Anna. She's in the ride for now. Keeps dropping info for the lack of sex. Yes. Yummy for the Grammy. Yes. We can all learn from her. Yes, the eyes thing. Making eyes. Uh-huh. Usman wants Kim for money and a green card. It's just like, I guess it's just, yeah, like, it's crazy to me that Kimberly has money to give. That she would even be a victim of that because like she has enough discretionary income to be a victim, to be a target. But she does, I mean, you know, only because it's like she lived with her mom in San Diego and she like was in the military. I just, you know, like how does she, you know, and she has a son. I don't know, like it makes me sad. Oh God, this ankle is the worst. Okay. So Kimberly also gets mad at Usman for not wearing the ring that she decided to give him the night before to meet with the mom. I'm sorry, the mom's pick. And Usman's like, oh, but we don't even like wear rings in this culture. So like, you know, like, that's why I don't wear it. And like that's LOL because it's the reason why she proposed to him was for him to wear this ring that he didn't wear. However, if everything is real, as we're supposed to like believe, but we know it's not, but everything is real, then for her to watch this scene, I think that she should be happy to know that he actually took the wherewithal in this first meeting to be like, hey, just so you know, I got this other bird, and the other bird and I already talked about that other bird wants to be wife number one. Now, of course, as I said, she said surely no, and your mom said no, you know, whatever, God bless. But Usman actually did say that, which, I mean, of all the things we should give him some like credit for. I think Usman gets off on the dynamic with an old woman who has low self-esteem. I agree. Do you get a pension from the military? She has retirement from the army. Oh yeah. Okay. I guess so. Now my cousin is texting me about the wheelchair thing. I can't believe I did that to myself. Well, really dropped in, dropped out, you know? Dropped in, honey, dropped out. Okay. I'm just kidding. I keep looking at my phone thinking that this is where my notes are, and it's freaking on my thing. Okay, my last couple is Bilal and Shai. So Bilal and Shai are gonna go on a whirlwind tour to New York. And Shai is like very cute. She's taking in all her like newfound world in such a way. She's excited to go to New York, and New York is always very exciting. I always think it's exciting to go to New York. I love going. I love going. Like even for me, like yeah, as a California girl, as someone who was not raised in New York, but like loved going, it always means something fun for me. Like going to New York is like, oh, it feels so different. It's a big major city. It's like the capital of like finance and fashion and theater and um, publishing and design or whatever it is. Especially like in the '90s, it was like it was ahead of a lot. Where now it feels like in the 2020s, like of course LA has all of Hollywood and that kind of entertainment industry and like the wellness industry, and then of course Silicon Valley happened in San Francisco. So now there's kind of like a little more diversity in like areas in California where parts of the industry are like suited and created. But New York has obviously the energy about it that is like exciting and fun and somewhat electric. And it's a city that never sleeps. And there's just like restaurants everywhere, and it's open to 4, and there's bars everywhere, and the skyscrapers, and all of it, right? It's very fun. And Shai, of course, is going to be like enamored with that. She can't wait to go. She loves dressing up, and there's like this kind of like, oh, in New York, everyone wears black and chic. Everyone's wearing like chic garments, black, you know, specifically not for Shai because she lives in Kansas City and it's definitely like very cold there. For California, for me, it was always like, oh, when you go to New York, especially if you go in the wintertime, you get to wear like jackets and coats, and earmuffs and like gloves and scarves. So crazy. Boots. Oh my God. So it always meant like something for me, like fashion wise too, in the fact that I would have to wear all of my winter clothes that I like don't see that much, usually in colors like blacks, reds. So yeah, she's very excited to go. And she's gonna meet up with her friend Utris, who's her friend who they hung out together in Trinidad and Tobago, and then Utris, ended up going to New York and then is like living her life. Okay, Utris is an interesting girl. Okay, so what happens is Bilal and Shai go to New York. As I said, they're like packing for New York, and I clocked this. We have been very, very well aware of Bilal's Louis Vuitton luggage. He brought it to Trinidad and Tobago when he first was just like getting to know Shai. I'm sure she clocked it and was like, you like nice things. And then we've noticed it like a lot. And when they traveled together, they traveled in one bag before earlier on in the season, and they both traveled in the Louis Vuitton. And now they're in New York and they have separate luggages, and her luggage is not Louis Vuitton. Not Louis Vuitton. And I thought to myself, what the fuck is the point, Bilal, of you to have masculine, gray and black Louis Vuitton luggage if you're going to have a wife who's going to travel with you who doesn't have her own matching set? What the hell is the point? What do you think it looks like for you to have her having like unmatched off-brand Samsonite? It looks horrible. It contradicts any work you've done for your own luggage. And it makes people like me think, why the hell is he not taking care of his wife? It would have been better for him to not use the Louis Vuitton luggage and in fact use like even a Tumi, which is still expensive, but like subtle enough that it's not so awkward. To me, for me. Okay? I hate that. I just feel like he wants to portray himself as being so rich. But really rich men take care of their wives more than they would take care of themselves in the brand aesthetic realm. Now, they do dress alike, and I feel like they have a stylist doing that. And so I'm being very nitpicky, but still they have to hear it from someone. And it better be me. Because I have seen that LV luggage, honey, everywhere. And she should get a matching set in her like brown or whatever she wants. And then you both can be stylish together instead of us being like, why are you so cheap, Bilal? Why are you so cheap? Anyway, so Utrus and him and Shai go out to dinner, and they go to like this like fancy like Greek place or whatever, and it's like the kind of place like in New York that has like lighting in like certain places. It's kind of like modern. It's like kind of like, it's fancy. You can tell. Now off the bat, Utrus, okay, they butt heads. I will say that Utrus's energy was frenetic. It felt very frenetic and very kind of like awkward and uncomfortable. Now, it very much felt like someone was like, Utrus, great. You never been on TV before? Even better. Cool. For the producers of Nutty Fiancé who want to be on this episode, this is your best friend? Okay, this is what you want to do. Go to dinner at this Greek restaurant and get at Bilal. Get at him. Ask him all the questions, honey. Make sure he's right for your girl. You better make sure he's right. This is what we want to see. Yeah, we really want to see a juicy seed of you making sure that he's right for your girl because you haven't ever met him, right? And he met all the other people and you're the best friend? That's weird. Well, you got to make sure it's right for your girl. And she's like, okay. And so she like, it felt like she was like pumped up in such a way to like come at it. And he is like obviously very awkward and obviously not a warm person. He's not a nice, warm person. He's not able to like finesse situations. Like he would never be able to charm his way out of anything. He doesn't have the wherewithal to be that way. Because to be charming, you have to be able to see the other person in such a way. What they want, what they need, what they're asking for in that moment, what would make them happy, and be able to give a little bit of that to them while still maintaining whatever you don't want to give away from yourself, right? That's the kind of game that like something like that requires. So Utrus and her like somewhat frenetic energy that I also read as being a little bit cocky. She had this like jaw tension, mouth, eye thing, and energy thing that, listen, I have never been someone who does a bunch of coke, so I am not an expert in that, but there was something about her energy that made me feel uncomfortable, and alongside some of the facial tension could obviously be just uncomfortability from being on camera, but also kind of felt like a little druggy to me for some reason. But anyway, so she's coming at him and is sort of like, well, what's happening with the kids? And are you going to give my best friend what she wants, which is children? And can I ask you some questions? Can I ask you questions about about you and what, like, can I get to the bottom of some things I want to know? And he's like, can you ask questions? Like, he's not able to say something like, I'm so happy to meet you. Yeah, I know we haven't met. I know you're her best friend. I know you have some questions you want to ask. And listen, I want to be able to answer as much as I can while still maintaining some of our relationship privacy. So thank you for respecting that. And then she would be like, gulp. Well, okay. Well, we can have babies with my friend. Well, we're currently working on that, as we've seen a fertility expert. We're right now trying to work on that, but at this exact moment having dinner with you. So I would say not in this very moment, Utrus, we're having dinner with you, but later on. working on it. You know, like a billion ways to be somewhat charming about it. But his method, even though he's on TV and even though he knows he's already been somewhat chastised for being controlling and manipulative, comes across as being angry and mean to his wife's best friend he's never met before, which isn't a good look. But he's never had a good look. I don't know if we've ever seen Bilal have a good look. That's why I was like, can we just see him buy her something? Can we just, can we see her, make her feel happy? Like, I don't even get it. Like, what she's done for him, like, she's done so much. All she wants is a kid, and for you to just pay a couple of months before she starts her own yoga practice and then gives money back to you. Oh my God, my ankle hurts so bad. Uterus came in way hot. Uterus's accent was tripping me out. Uterus, she was like a cokey, like college professor. Like she just, it was a lot of this. It was a lot of like her eyes. It was a lot of eyes, movements, and mouth holding that was just like, oh, we're okay here. We okay? You know, like if I was Bilal, I wouldn't want to be grilled like that. I wouldn't want to be grilled by someone like that. It would make me feel uncomfortable. I would have preferred them to start talking. Well, what's your life like? You know, could Bilal have turned the tables? Uterus, what's it like being in New York for you? When's the last time you've been back to Trinidad and Tobago? How good does your girl look? What's been happening with you? Are you dating anyone? Have you seen House of Dragon? You know, like a billion things, but like we're on a television show, which makes me feel like this argument again is like, you know, produced by the produced. So him and Uterus like get in a fight, and then like it's awkward as hell. And then they have to like get over it at the dinner table. You know, with Shy, who's like, can we just order? Like, can we just, excuse me, garçon? You know, like some bread or something. You know, like they end up getting drinks. Now, I don't know what kind of drinks they are. I think they might be non-alcoholic drinks. It was like mocktails. They both got a mocktail, and she gets something different. You know, and now that you speak about the way things could have been handled, if this is real, you're absolutely correct. So I do think now that I'm hearing from you that this was produced, I'm glad you think so. I think so. Thumbs it up. Thank you so much, Baba Baby Bingy Blanket. Thumbs it up. 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 All she wants is a kid. All she needs is embryos. Problem solved, honey. Well, eggs. She gotta freeze some eggs. I mean, it scares me sometimes. I don't know. It's so hard being a female. I've talked about this. It's so hard being a female, obviously. You gotta freeze eggs. You gotta freeze your eggs. And it's more work to freeze eggs and have to unfreeze them. I guess it's the same. But the problem is that it's a hard percentage to get any sort of like successful thing when it comes to IVF. It's easier, or you have a better percentage to freeze embryos. But if you freeze embryos, you are locked in, honey, with that DNA from that sperm. You are locked in. And she's married, right? So she's married. So she realizes that she's locked in. But sometimes I'm just like, girl, also just freeze some eggs. Freeze embryos. Can you also just like freeze like 12 eggs? Just take them away. Just get a bunch of eggs, just a couple of rounds, just get them. And then 12 of them just put off to the side, just in case. I don't know. I feel feel like Shaeeda stirred the girl up and tried to weaponize her. Ooh! Like she wants people to subtly do her handiwork, you know, she needs people to like come in and do the reinforces. Yeah, like Shy maybe like thought that like Bilal's mom and sister would help, but like they're not helping her, and so she's like, I need my friend to come in and like just straight up tell him to like have a kid. She tried to have the doctor do it. Remember when she got the doctor to be like, well, you gotta start trying, and Bilal's like, so what I'm hearing is I can wait 2 years. And she's like, anyway. Thank you so much for this super chat. Tip tip hooray for that little ditty. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my right time. Thank you so much. By the way, I just realized I've not been talking in my mic at all. Y'all can hear me though? It's great. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. High five, BBBB. BBBBB. Thank you. That's very kind. Oh. Okay, so yeah, and they have an awkward dinner, then their drinks come, and it's just like so just like it's incredibly awkward. It doesn't make him look good, doesn't make Utrice look really good. Shy just kind of in the middle. It doesn't really make her look good. It just kind of makes her feel awkward. At one point during one of the like quick confessionals, and this has to be brought up, Bilal to Shy is like, hey, are your feet hurting you? And she's like, no. And he's like, because you've been running through my mind all day. And she's like, oh, thanks, you know, like, I think actually it was even more. It wasn't like, are your feet hurting you? He asked her, like, how are your feet feeling? And she's like, good. Like, good. Now, I'll tell you right now, Bilal's like, how are your feet feeling right now? To me, I'd obviously be like, horrible. No, really bad. No, I just sprained my ankle outside of a restaurant. I'm supposed to go to Disneyland tomorrow. I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do. And he'd be like, oh, well, that makes sense that they'd feel so bad because you've also been, before you rolled your ankle, you were running through my mind. You know, whatever. It's just like, it's an awkward thing. He's just an awkward man. He very much feels like he's in his head a lot, right? He very much feels like he spends a lot of his mind in his head. He's very cerebral. He's like thinking about things. I feel like he judges himself and other people. And I feel like that causes him to be insecure because he's a judgy person. So if he's judging other people, he's also judging himself. And he judges himself to be somewhat lacking. There's some part of him that truly feels like he's lacking. I'm not quite sure why. Now, it feels that way because it feels like the bravado and like what we see is him covering up this insecurity that he has, and especially the flashiness or whatever. And but I don't think that he's a bad man. I truly don't. I think that it's much easier to like watch someone and like judge them and be like, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. I don't think that the majority of the people saying that watched 90 Day Fiancé, including me, are devoutly religious people. And if you are devoutly religious, you can somewhat, I mean, odds are that those who are devoutly religious tend to be a little traditional or conservative when it comes to themselves, their relationships, their gender roles, or how their like lives work. Now seems to be very traditional, but the problem is that he has a stinginess about him because he's not, because he wants to look richer than he is. So he gives off the air that he's very rich, but he's stingy about it a little bit. aesthetics play a lot in his life, and that's like the ultra cleanness of his house and stuff like that. I think that he knows that Shy is like an incredible asset for him. And it's truly baffling to me to feel like he thinks he can get by without producing a child with her longer than 6 months. I think that in his half of me feels like he knows he has to have a child with her in 6 months, but maybe this is their drama that, that the producers have like wrote for their storyline. If you don't think selfishness makes you a bad person, then okay. Oh, I definitely bad, good. I don't know, Mickey, like it's a very black and white thing to see someone as bad or someone as good. A person can be not wholly bad or wholly good. And selfishness is a quality that is shared by many humans. Bilal doesn't, Bilal to me feels like he thinks he lives his life aligned with what he wants. It's not the life I would live. That could easily not be the truth, and I could easily not know something about him. He could be like, he can be, I mean, we don't even know. He could be a functional honey opium addict. I'm not quite sure. Just like combing the streets and the back alleys of Kansas City getting opium honey, and then just like, I don't know, smoking it somewhere. I don't even know where you smoke opium. Some den somewhere, a Kansas City den. I know it's an unpopular opinion. It's like, it's not that I think that he's great. It's not that I think that he's great. It's like I think that he's an, a kind of more normal than bad. And I think that a lot of like the 90-Day Fiancé people think that he's just like fully bad. Kind of the way that we're like Ed is fully bad or Lida is fully bad. I think that he doesn't I think that he has so I think that I don't know. I think that he is just so insecure. And I think that they have some part of the relationship we're not seeing that is good that we're just not seeing. Ugh, my loves. I don't know. They're on, I told you this, they're obviously on Instagram and TikToking and making reels all day long of them having a beautiful, fun life that just like joking around. I mean, he's not a jokester, he's really unfunny, but she's always like making funny TikToks and stuff like that. It feels like they're kind of like now like Libby and Andre. You know how Libby and Andre obviously always also fight, and then people are like Andre is a controlling, very intense, whatever you're gonna say about Andre, but that it very much also feels like they're in a relationship and they're not happy. It could be something like that. It's much easier for 90-Day Fiancé producers seemingly to put any sort of villain role on a couple on a man. Right now, I guess they're doing it on Yara. Yara is the villain right now for the Yara Jovi storyline. Yara is the one that seemingly keeps making crazy choices that like not a normal married person would make, knowing that they have to get the approval and, like whatever of the father and mother of their child and their wife/husband. So like that part does feel weird, right? And obviously I brought up Lida. Lida was definitely evil. And it's interesting because like even with like someone like Gino and Jasmine, that was a great couple that like you kind of went back and forth of thinking who was the villain, which is why they were so great, which is why it's horribly confusing that we're not watching them on Happily Ever After right now. I cannot believe we have to watch Angela and Michael and Ed and Liz and not have Gino and Jasmine. It's otherworldly. Um Dad, what are you doing? No, that was much earlier. All right, my love. Great comparison, quasi. What'd she say? Oh, God, where did she put it? Self-serving. If you don't think, oh, great comparison. Where did they compare? Oh, Bill's, okay. Bill's equals Professor Higgins molding a poor street girl. It's fully My Fair Lady. It's fully Pygmalion. Yeah. Honey, all she wants is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air. Oh, I love My Fair Lady, of course. Want to come say hi, Dad? He didn't. Yeah, no, that's such an astute, and I love it, theater arts reference. That's very true. He does feel like he's above her and she's a flower shop girl. And that she is only too happy and only too lucky to have him allow her into her house and give her dignity lessons. And so maybe you're right. Maybe he feels like because he's done that, he doesn't owe her a child. He's already changed her whole life. He's already picked her up from the gutter. The gutter being not really the gutter, but in his mind. And that was the best moment of Uterus being like, you feel like she owes you for marrying her, as if no one else would have. And I think when he got that said to him, he could say nothing else and he was checkmated. He doesn't want to be wrong. A lot of his manhood, maybe, or his like success relies on him being, I think, the head, a good thinker, a rational thinker, right? In control of his life. There's something about having his whole house be pristine and not having kids that gives him an amount of power, you know? Anyway, all right, my loves. I gotta go. Oh, you're coming in now? Yeah, I'll watch the replay. Oh, thank God. Cockney singing, my favorite. Gruel. No. I love Cockney singing too. My Fair Lady is the best. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely? Ugh. Anyway, okay, so that's it. This was this episode. Can you believe it? I'm so happy that you guys are here with me now. Thank you so much for. I know it's Thursday night, super late. I'm so sorry. It was a late thing. I got in late from being with Wah, and I get into like Tuesday night, super late. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for always, just like not calling me out for being horribly not on time or not consistent. I truly appreciate it. I really love doing these lives and talking to you. So anytime I'm like late, it's not because I want to. It's because I'm like getting my life together. Rest, ice, elevate, medicate, honey. For sure. I will. We're gonna do our breath. We're gonna do all our outros. Don't even worry. I want you guys to have a beautiful rest of your week. It's Thanksgiving week. It's Thursday. So technically Thanksgiving week starts Sunday, but it's a week from now as Thanksgiving. So it's a full week of us to consider starting our gratitude journey, understanding how this year has been for us and what we can be grateful for and where we are. I am incredibly grateful for a lot of things. I'm so incredibly grateful for my family and the roof over my head and the heater that's on and the warm, comfy blankets I get to go on underneath. I'm grateful that I have you guys to talk to, that I can complain about rolling my ankle. I'm grateful that, I even had such a plan like Disneyland tomorrow. I hope I can still go. I'm really, I think that I love this time of year. I love Christmas. In the holiday season, I feel like it's this understood thing, not spoken, understood thing, where we can all sort of lean into warmth, grace, empathy, love with each other. Because the holidays can be very, very difficult for a lot of us as well, right? And I think that we can extend a certain amount of like empathy and grace, knowing that it's not just the stress the holidays bring or the money that it takes to get through buying gifts or the end of the year, but sometimes it's the emptiness and loneliness that people can feel around this time because they're not in touch with their loved ones, or their loved ones have passed, or they're feeling, maybe people are feeling a certain amount of anxiety or mental loneliness in themselves, or maybe like a certain amount of like, mental instability that keeps them from connecting. So knowing that there's just a multitude of different stresses and challenges in the world, and that sometimes they can be brought to a head during this season, it's also like the time in which we can lean into a lot of the feelings of unity, like a warm, loving, giving spirit. I think it's always really important to like try and do some sort of like volunteer work if you can during this time. I know there's a lot of like soup kitchens and like a lot of like people experiencing homelessness around where I live in California. I'm sure there's a lot of like great that can be done. So if you feel a certain amount of loneliness or sadness during this time, being of service to someone is, I think, one of the better ways to combat that. And you'll never not feel lonely, because I think it's part of the human condition. And as we've talked about on this show, a lot of the people that are on 90 Day Fiancé make decisions based upon the profound loneliness that as humans we all feel. But knowing that, we are all the same, and this season can be both joyous and bittersweetly sad for some, can hopefully like bring us together to lift those up that need it, and then also ask for help when we do. So, it's fucking difficult. It's difficult that everything is so expensive, and like to buy presents. Everything, there's going to be a lot of problems. It's like crazy weather everywhere. Not currently where I am, but I came from Minnesota and it was bananas there, and there's like hurricanes everywhere and stuff. My God. So, okay, my loves, having said that, so we're going to take a breath. We're going to like breathe into our gratitude and our love, as well as open our hearts to be sensitive to other people, and know that if we are reactive sometimes to something that happens during this holiday season, if there's a moment of pause that we can give ourselves to turn a reaction that could be maybe anxiety driven and or whatever, a hard reaction, to something that could be a little more graceful in the face of understanding what we're all going through. So that reaction, what I'm talking about, could be something as simple as like being in the car and someone like cuts you off and it's like, fuck you. But it's also like, you know what? God bless. Get ahead of me. Make it to the mall in time. Get your PlayStation 5. Get it. Whatever it's going to be. Okay, we're going to do our rehearsal practice breath and then our actual breath. How do you feel? You want one more? One more. All right, that feels good. That feels good. Breathing always makes me feel good. So yes, if you want more of this exact episode, I mean, obviously I'm done talking about it, but you can listen to Wall and I talk about it right now if you wanted to on DocuSweeties, which is our podcast. And this episode of this episode of 90 Day Fiancé is something we already talked about like 3 days ago. So it's a super fresh episode. We had just watched it, so we can get both of our opinions going back to back on this. And then we also have a Love During Lockup that's also up that we put up. If you're watching that, which is really a great season, much better than this one. I know I have Single Life to do, which I will do. Hopefully I'll make it up. I just got done watching House of Dragon, which I really like too. It was something I was watching with my dad. So now that I'm done with that, I can get back into Single Life. That. I'm so thankful that you guys that watched while I drive to Minnesota on the DocuSweeties Instagram. Thank you so much for liking those Instagram stories and enjoying that. We also went live on Patreon, which we do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/DocuSweeties, which we showed Was New Digs. So that full apartment stage show is up there too if you want more stuff. That's on Patreon, but there's free episodes on the podcast DocuSweeties. That's up. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Chris L. Farah. The L is for love. Mm-hmm. Very much so. So have a great rest of your night. Take care of yourselves and one another and stand up for what you believe. And I almost said make love. Yeah, well, make love. Listen, make art too. But if you have a chance, you better make love. Art's love. Love's art. Sex is art.